We're going to talk about our UK trip. But first, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Space Opera Xanadax, Across the Unknown Dimensions of the Galaxy, coming in August from Image Comics. There's a backup story in the trade, which is Princess, the Space Princess from Outer Space, which is a comic I did a while back and just never got published, never got into print, and I'm super proud of it. So it's going to be in there.
You showed me some images from it. It looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And when I was putting the book together, I thought, well, there's usually the back matter, the back part where you put little sketches and stuff. And I thought, well, what if there's room here? What if I, gave you like a whole other comic, like a bonus comic in the back? I felt like that was the best use of that real estate. Get this thing that I've, been really proud of for such a long time, actually get it in print for people to enjoy.
I'm so pumped, Tom.
Thanks, Matt. Get your pre-orders in now because that pre-order window is starting to close, and I want everybody who wants this comic, I want them to be able to get a copy.
I pre-ordered mine.
Oh, great job, Matt. Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, new trade paperback coming any day now, coming in July. And then I'm hard at work. I'm working on page 2, the finished art for page 2 of The Twilight Zone, issue 2, my Twilight Zone story for IDW. We just got back from the UK. We did our big UK trip. We went to Macclesfield for the Makepeace festival by way of London. We had a little stop in London. So how are you feeling? You're back. Are you back in the swing of things?
I'm back in the swing of things. Our flight, when it landed in Pittsburgh, it kind of lended itself to like easing us back in.
It was a welcome back because it was like the first rain we'd had since we left. Like when we left, it was pouring rain in Pittsburgh, and then it was beautiful in England. Against the sort of conventional wisdom, where like the idea is that it's rainy in the UK, but no, it was beautiful there. And then the minute we got back to Pittsburgh, it was gloom.
Like gloomy from jump when we landed. What a trip, Tom! It's unforgettable. Like from minute one.
It was a real adventure. Also talking about expectations. The other expectation is that the thing you always hear is just how lousy the food is in England, and I found that to be completely ass backwards, completely untrue. I had some of the best meals I've ever had in my life. Really amazing stuff. And not necessarily complicated things either. Like I had a Rachel sandwich that was the best Rachel sandwich I've ever had in my life. Every element of it was like made to perfection. And then when we came back to America, we were at the airport and I was hungry. So I stopped at the 7-Eleven in the airport, got a tuna fish sandwich. And I was like, yep, welcome home. I'm sort of back to normal, back to the swing of things. But I was, like, the first couple of days, I was thinking, how do I go back to eating food here when I've had the UK stuff? Like, it's so good. The food is so good over there. Something happened. Like, I know in the 50s or the 60s or something, there was this reputation that everywhere you get like a butter and pickle sandwich, or that's what they served there. But everything was great.
It was amazing. We tried a little Gordon Ramsay action at Heathrow.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Gordon Ramsay because, Heathrow Airport, we got some Gordon Ramsay food. It was really good. It's like a little upscale. It's like upscale for the airport. Pretty a little pricey but delicious. So good. And then the first real meal I had, that wasn't like at an airport or on an airplane, was when we were at the pub in Macclesfield, and I got a chip butty. A B-U-T-T-Y. A chip butty.
Toasted bun with French fries, mayo, and cheese.
You're giving it too much credit. Because this is where I thought, oh no, I'm fucked. This is where I thought, yes, British food is as bad as they say. Because Sim, the great guy who gave us the ride from...
Thanks, Sim.
Yeah, from the airport to Macclesfield, he had a chip buddy there, and I took a look at it. It's a French fry sandwich. It's a sandwich with French fries, but then you had like cheese and like a sauce on it and something. I'm like, a French fry sandwich. We have the Permane Brothers sandwich here. I'm like, I'll give it a try. So I ordered one, And when I got mine, again, you were giving it too much credit. It was like a hamburger bun with a stack of French fries on it. And that was it. And I looked at that thing, and I'm like, "Oh no!"
Oh, yeah.
Can I get the peanut butter instead? Can I get a peanut butter on Wonder Bread, please?
I forgot they didn't dress yours up.
It had nothing on. It had a chip buddy. So I'm like, this is like something a kid would make. This is something like a kid at McDonald's who doesn't like their hamburger. Takes the beef out of the burger, like throws it at the ceiling, and then like dumps their fries on. Like that's all. No condiments, nothing. Like at least a Primanti, like people make fun of the Primanti Brothers sandwich. It's a popular Pittsburgh thing. It's the sandwich with French fries on it. But French fries is just one of the elements.
Yeah.
Like it's got coleslaw, it's got meat, it's got all kinds of stuff on it. This was just French fries on it. Like I thought maybe it was a joke. I thought, you know how sometimes there's like at bars there's like joke shots where like you try to trick somebody into ordering this like disgusting shot, like the cement mixer or the key lime pie or something. I thought it was like that. I thought, I fell for like a gag here. But then, Mark, our host, I guess he saw like the horror on my face of this thing. So he's like, I'll take care of it. So I don't know if Sim asked specifically, like, if that's like his order, like, I want a chip buddy, put some cheese on and some of the sauce, dress it up or whatever. Or maybe it's like, the chip, but like I guess maybe you have to know to ask for that stuff. But then they brought it out with all that stuff on, and it was fine. But I did think, like, okay, this is what the whole weekend's gonna be. The whole trip is just gonna be one piece of like shitty British food after not like Gordon Ramsay. I thought Gordon Ramsay at the airport.
It was a trick.
That was our that was gonna be our best meal. We weren't gonna have another decent meal until we got back to the airport. That's what I thought I was.
A funny story with the Gordon Ramsay at the meal at the airport, because we were cutting it close on boarding.
Yeah, on our
so
boarding
we had to
time.
do a Joey Chestnut speed.
Yeah, because the Gordon Ramsay, it says like served in 10 minutes or like they pride themselves on speed or whatever. But it was getting close to like boarding time and stuff, and our food wasn't there, and we were kind of like we already ordered the food, already paid for it. We were talking like we might have to just leave, leave. Like we paid for the food already. They're gonna bring food over to like an empty table. But then at the last minute they brought it. But yeah, we had to they were boarding our flight, so we were just like speed eating. Like
I had sauce all around my mouth.
I had the Caesar salad, and I'm just like pounding the Caesar. It was super good. Had anchovies on it and stuff. But yeah, I was eating it in fast forward. And then there were the wings. And I was like with the wings. And then I had some French fries. I had some chips. Yeah. And like I took them out, they were in this like metal jar, and I took them out like in the paper and just kind of like stuffed them in my pocket. Took them with me, and like Napoleon Dynamite eating tots out of his pocket.
Somebody was filming.
I'd love to see the other angle of that. You had some mac and cheese, and you had to leave half the mac and cheese. I think maybe you had like a third of the mac and cheese, had to leave the rest behind. But like if that was my mac and cheese, I would have just had third degree burns.
It was scalding. It was like nuclear level hot.
Because I did not leave a scrap behind. It was in like record time. We skipped our London trip, which was documented. We did a video of our London trip. Basically, we had a layover at Heathrow, 4 or 5 hours, and so that gave us enough time to get on the Heathrow Express, which is like this bullet train. In 15 minutes gets you to Paddington Station, and then we got out, did like a whirlwind tour of London. The thing where it was like, okay, we could do this in our time frame was Abbey Road. Like we could get to Abbey Road and back and make our flight, which again made it, which is why we had to cut it a little close with the Gordon Ramsay meal. See, I don't want to name since I talked so much shit on the garbage chip butty they served me at first. I mean, I was because it was a long day. We'd been traveling for like 2 days straight. Like I hadn't had like any substantial amount of sleep until then, so it was kind of a little bit crushing to be given this this. That was my dinner. That was like my first real meal in England, and it's like it's a hamburger bun with French fries.
You had a joke meal.
Yeah, you're all out of Wonder Bread. A mustard sandwich. When I was a kid, I'd ask my mom to make me mustard sandwiches. Like when I was little, like in first grade or whatever. It was like a step down from the mustard sandwich.
The festival was Saturday was great. We rocked that out. That was awesome.
Yeah, everything was great. It's funny because it is one of those things. Like I thought, oh, I'm going to remember every minute of this, and it's like a week later. Like a week ago, we were home. You know, we had just arrived home. So, and it's kind of like this video is going to be the document of our trip because the details are kind of distant. Yeah,
too. It fade as well. Had some great coffee over there.
We had amazing, just amazing food nonstop, and we kind of had the vacation attitude of like, you know, maybe eat too much, maybe try, you know. So I tried, because like the bed and breakfast would like deliver a breakfast to your room, and the breakfasts were amazing,
out of this world.
But since I sort of had jet lag, I was up early and I was like exploring and stuff, and breakfast was still like an hour away, but I was really hungry, so I stopped at Greg's.
Oh yeah,
this chain called Greg's that again Sim was telling us about it because he said Greg's was originally this like small local bakery in his neighborhood, and then it became this national chain. So I tried Greg's, and that was really good. Again, the chains were really good. So that's when you got these chains that you can reliably go to, that's pretty cool. The Greg's was really good. I got the sausage baguettes. It was like a baguette with like sausage links and then omelet and then red sauce, which I think is ketchup maybe, or.
We were seeing that HP sauce. It was like the it was brown. It was like ketchup and malt vinegar mixed.
Yeah, that was pretty. That's the brown sauce. It was interesting. I didn't see Heinz ketchup anywhere. Like Heinz ketchup is so ubiquitous in Pittsburgh and in the U.S. in general, and I wasn't seeing it around. So that was kind of interesting.
And no, iced tea really. It's hard to snag an iced tea there.
I guess because hot tea is so. Like that's what people are going to drink. So I kind of double dipped. I had my Greg's breakfast, and then an hour later I had my breakfast that was left at the door. I've been to some bed and breakfasts where there's no breakfast. That's just so it was
just
not.
A bed.
Yeah, they did a good job with the breakfast. Yeah, Macclesfield itself was like this beautiful town, this sort of medieval town. It really did remind me of Angoulême. It was. It was this sort of, just like this medieval, almost like like a fortress or something,
yeah.
Like Camelot.
It really was. Like the streets you would walk down sometimes, like as we were going down the hill, had like stone walls going up.
Yeah, stone walls and gates and gardens, and then this like beautiful church, St. Michael's Church at the top, which had the tombs of knights in it. There were all these sarcophaguses with like these elaborate sculptures with like the holy relics, like the bodies of knights entombed in them. It kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when they go to that library and the catacombs. Just like really beautiful stuff around every corner of Macclesfield. And I mean, it is a small town, but it's this gorgeous, beautiful small town. So a lot of the people we talked to were kind of like, oh, you were just in London. This must be a little bit of a come down from London. And it's like, no, London's a big city, and big cities are big cities. They sort of, you've seen one, you've seen them all, Yeah. But I mean, obviously London has its sights and its unique things, but they're living in this like beautiful sort of, they're living in Camelot or whatever in Macclesfield, but I guess it's just their daily reality. So they're kind of like, yeah, this kind of pales next to London. I know
this old thing.
Yeah. But meanwhile, yeah, it was like, there's like knights on horseback.
Yeah, like it said from like the 1500s.
Yeah.
There. It's like,
yeah, founded in like 12 something. Yeah.
Incredible. And town hall was amazing. Huge columns.
Yeah, all these sculptures and statues. This bust of Queen Victoria and stuff. I always wonder like how seriously this stuff is taken. I know they had some like funny signs hanging on them and stuff.
When we were out exploring the countryside, we got to go into this like ancient church courtyard, and we found the grave of George Lazenby.
Yeah, there was somebody Lazenby. Yeah, it was an O instead of an E.
Because we saw Dalton came in and knelt down and like put like flowers. But here lies George Lazenby's career.
Is George Lazenby still with us? I feel like they had that George Lazenby movie that was kind of like him telling his life story
I remember
a few years
that.
back.
He's still alive.
He is still alive.
85 years old.
Yeah, more power to him. But yeah, it was just a fun trip. We did a lot of living in a very short time.
Yes.
Like the 5 or so days that we were there felt like a month. And then just the week since we got back feels like it was just nothing, evaporated. So it is travel, travel does something. There's something that happens with travel.
We were out walking around late, and we stumbled upon like a party that was just winding down.
At a Greek restaurant, and there were all the dishes smashed on the ground and stuff on the floor. That was pretty cool, and everybody there was super nice. And then, and we were like known in the town too. Which is funny. We kept getting stopped by people and say, "Oh, I heard about your trip to London," and so it was pretty cool.
Everyone
we were
so
like local celebrities. The Makepeace Festival, they had a lot of cool like events and things I've never done at a comic convention before. So yeah, there was like a comics trivia quiz. It was 3 teams. That was a highlight. And then another event on Sunday, we got to do like a live Total Recall show.
That was awesome.
They gave us the Galactus and the Fantastic Four Lego set, and then we set up in Waterstones, the bookstore, put this Lego Galactus together and just riffed and talked and then like when Mark pitched this to us, I wasn't picturing us being in a bookstore during like the working hours. So like a crowd starts forming in the bookstore. Like we had an audience. That was the first live Total Recall show. So maybe we'll do some more of those because it worked out pretty good. And
that was a blast.
We'll be showing a video of that sometime soon. They had a crew of local film school or local college students, like film department, film the thing and are going to edit the thing. Maybe we'll give it another edit, like a little sprinkle a little Total Recall show magic on it, and then post to that as an episode. But that was so much fun,
so great. And then to top it all off, that Sunday there was a whole town-wide market going on.
The outdoor market called the Treacle Market. Which again, I didn't see one piece of treacle for sale. I never. We're back. I didn't get to try treacle as much as like they refer to it as Treacle Town and had the Treacle Market. The market was, and I had some of the best food I've ever had in my life at that market. I got like a chicken tikka masala from a vendor, and it's the best chicken tikka masala I've ever had. It's so flavorful. The spices. Also, I noticed. The food in the UK, all the different places I went, it seems like the food is served hotter than it is here. Like, and so I don't know if that's because of like maybe lawsuits or something, but the food was always piping hot and just like just really strong flavor.
That wrap I had, the spice level was very high. That was so good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, like I don't know how you go back to just regular old American food after you try. Like it really, like I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, like Macclesfield was packed with shops and restaurants.
Yeah, all these cool little local places. We tried to sample as many as possible, and we did pretty good. And our host Mark, he was trying to guide us. He's like, try to steer clear of the chains. Yeah. Even though they're chains like we'll never see again, in our life.
They're exotic to us.
Exotic to us. He's like, try to just, he was recommending all the local places. He's like, because you had your eye on Gales.
Yes.
And he was like, oh yeah, don't go there. Try this place. And again, we did try all those other places. But we did end up at Gale. It's the forbidden fruit or whatever. We did end up at Gale's. And I'm so glad we did because
it was so good.
That's where I got the Rachel sandwich, and it was phenomenal. I've had I did not expect going to England I'd have like the best deli sandwich I've ever had in my life. Like it was just a simple thing, and it was incredible. The coleslaw in it was just so flavorful and tangy, and the corned beef was like lean, and it was like because that's the other thing. Like you get it at Eaton Park or whatever, and it's like sometimes the corned beef is like utterly disgusting and inedible, and then sometimes it's fine, it's whatever. But this was delicious.
You can still see the marks where the jockey was ripping Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. This is how Mark finds out we went to Gale.
We were destroying it.
We were joking that like we're ordering, and then he comes up behind us, puts his hand on our shoulder. Well. What have we here?
Like clunks our heads.
There was Gale's, and then there was Cafe Nero. And Cafe Nero was like another chain. I love the name, by the way. It sounds like because there was Little Nero's Pizza in Home Alone. It sounds like a spoof, but it's like they ran out of Roman emperors. It's like we can't call it Cafe Caligula. Or
the Cafe Caligula. He's been in there all day long.
So Cafe Nero, they had a tiramisu latte, and I scoped that out, but it was like, I'm trying not to hit the chains, try not to hit the chains, trying to just support the local businesses, which again we did. But then when we were at the airport, and we got the dressing down.
Oh my God! Right in Manchester.
In Manchester.
Read the signs.
If anybody, because
you illiterates.
So we got a second chance, and so I did get the Cafe Nero tiramisu latte, and I can report it was excellent. It was like the line where you get your boarding pass, check your luggage, whatever, and the sign said, desk opens 2 hours before your flight, and we were like 2.5 hours before our flight, but it's like, oh great. The desk is open. The sign says desk opens 2 hours, but lucky us, it's 2.5 hours early and it's open. So we wait in line. We get to the front, and there were a couple other people who were on our flight too who had the same thought or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, please clearly read the sign. 2 hours before, he was like giving us all a dressing down. He's like, and it's like, please, feel free to, give your patronage to the, to the coffee shop. And so it was, just made us feel like just idiots. But it's like, it's not like the sign said, please don't check in until 2 hours. But it said, desk open 2 hours before your flight, and the desk was open. It was 2.5 hours. Sorry. So then we got, but we got to sit, and we were wondering if maybe there's some deal between Cafe Nero and this guy to like direct people to the coffee shop. But we hung out. We had a little something to eat and drink. It was fine. And then we got back in line. But then by the time we got back in line, it was like a huge line again. Yeah. So we were picturing like the guy giving us dressing down for being late or something, the same guy.
Like Laurel.
It's like, what have we here? The comedy team of Stan Laurel and Oliver Tardy.
He's like, they're like, I knew you gentlemen can't read, but somehow you're worse at mathematics.
A couple of morons.
Two
boobs. I haven't seen as big a pair of boobs in quite some time, and I was the judge in a Dolly Parton look-alike contest.
Why don't you two put your heads together and make an ass out of yourself?
How about the one pilot who was like testing out his stand-up routine as he's talking about how we're on our way to Manchester, the greatest city on earth, and then he's like, we had a bit of a delay, and we could, in other words, a cock-up.
Yeah, he called it a cock-up over the loudspeaker. A bit of a cock-up.
A bit of a cock-up.
We are 5 minutes late. I'm so ashamed. I'll be hanging up my wings. He's like,
anytime there was the tiniest delay, they'd be like so apologetic and like hang their heads in shame. It's like, who can, 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late.
Then you're doing a runner where he was like, if you'll excuse me, I need to change the tire on this Sky Jalopy.
That was the other thing. One of our flights was like this real creaky airplane, and they kept apologizing for the airplane, and they said, we're sorry, this was all we were offered, and we had the choice of either canceling the flight or choosing this inferior aircraft, and we felt that that you would rather not cancel not cancel the flight and go with a so it was kind of like, oh God, what are we?
What are we in for here? He's like, there's a hole in the cockpit floor. I'm going to pedal this plane like Fred Flintstone down the runway.
The other discovery, and expect to see more of this,
God.
but late at night when the show's over, like usually when I'm at a convention or something and I'm at the hotel, I like never even turn on the TV. But I thought, okay, I'm in England, let me see what the TV's like. So I was flipping through the channels and I find this show called Dempsey and Makepeace, and I just caught this little bit of it before it went to commercial. But it was this cop Dempsey, and he's having a foot chase through London, trying to chase this perp. And then the guy jumps over this little bridge that and then it starts going like this. It just starts separating, and Dempsey's there like huffing and puffing, and the guy's like standing there like on the other side of the bridge, like 2 feet away basically. But Dempsey's like, and the guy's like, and I was in love. Dude. I started cracking up. I'm like, this show is speaking to me. I need to know more about it. And then, I mentioned it. I mentioned it to Mark and some of the other people. And I was like, and I couldn't remember the name. I was like, it's Dunwitty and Makepeace. He's like, Dempsey and Makepeace. Like he knew the show, and we ran into a couple people who knew the show. Were pretty enthusiastic about it. So then we started riffing on what we think the rest of Dempsey and Makepeace. It's just based on that short clip because it was so cheesy and so bad, and I think probably the motion smoothing and stuff that's on TV is probably added to the cheesiness of it. This jerky quality of this.
A lot of the riffs end up becoming exactly what the guy.
Yeah, we were pretty spot on with some of them. But yeah, we were talking about the guy who chews them out. The boss is Dempsey, Makepeace, you're off the case. Has a powdered wig on. He's yelling at them, and the powdered wig's bouncing up, and powder's blowing everywhere as he's screaming at them.
And they were on the trail of the Treacle-Town Trickler.
Yeah, we were. It was a late night. After some time at the pub, a couple of pints, and everybody else had gone home to their families and stuff, and we were just kind of walking through the town and riffing on what Dempsey and Makepeace could be. And we were walking through Treacle-Town, Macclesfield, where the story of Macclesfield is that a truck full of treacle turned over, and then the streets were flooded with treacle. It sounds completely apocryphal to me, but that's the connection. When Mark was first telling me about, we're called Treacle-Town, just in my head, I was like, that's probably their major export, or they have a treacle factory or something. But no, it's that a truck. It's almost like something out of The Office or something. Our big, that was Slow News Day. That was the big event in the 600-year or 800-year history of Macclesfield. The one notable thing that happened was a truck turned over full of treacle.
That's so funny that there in the town there's a knight in a sarcophagus, but everyone's talking about the brown molasses that squirted out of the truck in 1974.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It is pretty funny. But we're walking through Macclesfield, walking through Treacle-Town, and we were talking about Dempsey and Makepeace come to Macclesfield, and they're on the trail of the Treacle-Town Trickler, a public urinator. That's the worst criminal that Dempsey and Makepeace are on the trail of. The Treacle-Town Trickler.
The chief said he was painting the town yellow.
The Treacle-Town Trickler struck again.
He was pissing his way over every roundabout and rubbish bin in town.
Yeah, and that Dempsey's boss was going to bust him down to penny farthing duty, where he was going to become a blank cop on a penny, and wear one of those Keystone Cops hats.
I want you to turn your billy clubs in.
They called the billy clubs something else. There was another name for it here. I forget what it was called. But anyway, when I finally got home, first order of business was to watch Dempsey and Makepeace, and so I put on the pilot episode 1. And it's actually really good. That clip I saw, because the action, it is, it's it's on a TV budget. The action can be a little cheesy. The action's still pretty fun, but it can be a little cheesy. But again, I do think maybe it was motion smoothing or something, because it seemed extra cheesy. I was picturing this show being way shittier than it is. It's actually a very credible action drama. pretty intense, gritty, like, and looks amazing too. Has that like 80s single camera look. Like the leads have this amazing chemistry, which, as it turns out, they ended up getting married in real life and are still married to this day, 40 years later. But it just, everything about it works. But I so had it in my head that it was going to be a piece of shit. And I was a little disappointed to find out it's actually a good show. But now I'm hooked. Like, now I'm watching all of it. But, because I imagine that, because it's a pretty good setup. It's a New York cop. Things are getting too hot back home. There's some like mob boss or something who's looking for him. So he comes to London as part of like an exchange program, and then he gets teamed up with a female undercover agent. And so it's pretty great premise. But I was imagining like Dempsey, the New York guy, being played by a British actor, putting on an American. So being like, come now, Makepeace. That's not the way we handle things in New York City. It's a little different back home, back across the pond where I'm from. I was picturing something like that.
We don't do that in the Bronx.
Yeah, exactly. Now, pardon me while I eat this slice of pizza. But no, I mean he seems like a New York guy. He's got like Al Pacino hair. He's got the Tony Danza.
He's got the fountain, the hair fountain.
It works. Like you buy him as this streetwise cop, and again the writing is funny. Like it's and then Makepeace is amazing.
She's awesome.
She first shows up and she's got a Cockney accent and she's got like a tear in her fishnet stockings and stuff. And then Dempsey's there with like his new boss, and he's supposed to meet this hotshot undercover agent. And the waitress comes up and he gives her, like a tip or whatever, and she walks away. And then he's like, "Your man isn't here. I don't see your man here." And he's like, "My man? You just talk to him." And then he like turns around, and then like the camera zooms in on him, and then zooms in on her. Like, great, again a little cheesy, but kind of perfect. Really. Really great, really, and she's amazing too. She's got this, again, it was like discovering this iconic 80s police show that I grew up with, except I'd never seen it before in my life. It just felt so right. And she's got this like cool iconic look. It kind of almost like Linda Evans or something. She has this like helmet hair Hall of Fame. This like helmet of like golden hair that's just like perfect. Like just this.
Her face is like framed behind.
Yeah, great look. And then the setup is great because she goes undercover and pretends to be like these Cockney characters, but then you find out later in the episode that her father is like a British lord and stuff. She's actually rather posh. Like, and I totally see like the chemistry, because there's like the early scenes where they're like, they're kind of disgusted with each other. They don't like each other, but it's like you can see in their eyes that there's something going on. Like you see the chemistry there, and it does work on the show. And then the cases they have are like genuinely interesting, and there's a point in the story where they like really fuck things up. Like, again, like Hunter or something. There's always the thing that Hunter like fucks up, and then it's like, Hunter, you're off the case. Like, they get that, but it really did seem where they thought they were busting a bunch of bad guys, but it turns out they like killed like 5 MI5 agents. And stuff. It's like, oh shit, things are really bad. The funny thing is that like there's this like SNL thing where they talk about how like these like British crime movies that are always like super low stakes. Like it's this heist where they're gonna steal $1,200 or something. It's always super. And so in this one, it turns out like there's these major like illegal arms deals going on with Russia, where these like British guys who are like corrupt or whatever are selling high-tech armaments to Russia in exchange for cans of caviar. Like that felt so good. Like oh come on, dude. Are you that low that you're willing to like betray your country for some caviar? Like, I know caviar's, it's the 80s, caviar's expensive, and it is kind of cool. Like at the end of the episode, Dempsey's like eating this big can of caviar, and then like feeds a little bit to Makepeace, and then that's the end of it.
And then in episode 2, you got this gang of robbers wearing like Planet of the Apes mask.
Yeah, on BMX bikes. Again, you got all this like delicious 80s stuff going on.
Dude, and there's 30 episodes of this show.
I can't wait. Yeah.
What a find. Thank goodness you were flipping on that in the channel late at night.
The other thing with Dempsey and Makepeace, the thing that made me laugh out loud when I was watching it was like the angry sergeant or what, like their angry boss, and when he finds out that they're sending like a New York, he needs more men on the case and stuff, and so they're sending him an officer, but he's coming from New York, and he's like, "Are you telling me you're giving me a bloody yank?" And I like guffawed. It's such a great line. Like we gotta put out the T-shirt of are you telling me you're giving me a bloody yank?
I started cracking up. So.
A bloody yank. And it just sounds great.
He keeps like Dempsey must be the only one because he brought his gun with him.
Right, there's no other guns in
He's
the
got
UK.
the one gun.
Dempsey, Makepeace. If you don't find the Treacle Town Trickler by Michaelmas, we're sending you down to Penny Farthing Patrol. Dempsey gets down on one knee and he's like, "Makepeace, will you make me the happiest New York police officer in all of London?" I watched that one little clip and I watched like a little more, but everything I'd seen, and then I told you about it, and you were checking it out on your TV, because mine was just like regular TV. Yours was like apps and stuff, so you were able to like watch like YouTube clips or whatever. But in both cases, neither one of us ever saw Makepeace. Like it was a while we saw Dempsey, but no Makepeace. So I did start wondering, like, oh, is Makepeace like an angel or a ghost or like his imaginary friend? Again, like I had just a little bit of information. I daren't leap over the channel. I daren't go need water ever since my old partner fell off his penny farthing into the Thames. so like one of them has this like fear. They're stuck in London, but they have this fear of water because their partner. I daren't go near water after my partner fell off his penny farthing into the Thames. Every 80s detective show, they have like a cool car. You think of like Hardcastle and McCormick or something. But they drive around in a pimped out double-decker bus. And they like stick a siren on top of it. Like, I love Dempsey and Makepeace. But I loved it so much more when I didn't know anything about it. Like, if you don't catch the trickler, you'll have to get your Keystone Cops hats and billy clubs out of mothballs. Dempsey and Makepeace. For like the spoof version, like the Mad Magazine version, so it'd be like Makepeace and Not War. Dunwitty and Gabblesforth. Shitpipe and Dumbledore. Are you offering me a bloody yank? Dude, Dempsey and Make Pizza. That'll be the Cracked magazine one. Dempsey and Make Pizza. Dingleberry and Razzmatazz. So that could be the Dingleberry and Razzmatazz. And Dingleberry is Dinglebury. I was talking to Mark and he was saying, like, if we come back next year for the show, we're going to do some kind of Dempsey and Makepeace related program there. I thought, oh, is he gonna bring in the cast of the show?
We do an interview with Dempsey and Makepeace.
How great would that be?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I was looking. There's Dempsey and Makepeace action figures, which again I was really excited because I thought, like, okay, before we make like Dempsey and Makepeace go international and become like an international phenomenon, I thought, like, okay, let me swoop in and get some of these Dempsey and Makepeace toys, but they're already like way, they're already way priced up. There's just not enough of them to go around. Because it is like a well remembered show and beloved show.
What if we get to hang out with Dempsey and Makepeace? That would be incredible.
Yeah, and again, like there's some James Bond stuff going on here. He's at the Baccarat table and stuff, but like the drama is so good that the interchange between all the characters, but then the fight scenes are a little, like, they're a little cheesy, like a little bit laughable, but even that's fun too, because they are like, it's like a real fight scene done on a budget. But there's a great one in the pilot where it's like a fight in a kitchen.
Oh,
So there's
yeah.
like meat cleavers and stuff, and it's like a real sloppy fight too. It's pretty great. And then the climax is really great too, because there's this like ticking time bomb, and they're in a helicopter, and you know,
like in episode 2, he like there's a lot of action on the dock where he like runs and does like a swan dive to like tackle somebody. Like,
do you know if this actor, because obviously he became famous, like he's an American actor who found fame in England, but do you know if he's done anything else? If he had done anything prior to this?
I was planning on checking his IMDb out.
Yeah, well, but we'll do a proper Dempsey and Makepeace episode,
because we're gonna push up the like the price on those action figures even more after this. And you know, I might even want to try to track down some physical DVDs if possible.
Yeah, that's what I was, because they had the exchange in Macclesfield, and I was looking for Dempsey and like Region 1 Dempsey and Makepeace DVDs. They didn't have any, like they didn't have any Dempsey and Makepeace DVDs.
If anyone has any Dempsey and Makepeace paraphernalia, if they're like desperate to get out of their house,
yeah, send it to the PO box. You saw our London trip, and we were literally running through the streets of London because we did not have a lot of time. Like the window kept shrinking as like Heathrow Express says it's a 15-minute train, and it does get you, you know, 15 minutes from the airport to the train station. But there's a couple stops within the airport that make it take a little long. So there were little things, but we were running. I'd love to get like an outside shot. I'd love to see like the Londoner's eye view of these two guys just like
two bloody Yanks
on like the hottest day of the year.
Wow, it was
running you know, down to Abbey Road. But again, we weren't the only ones. Like there was a crowd of people outside Abbey Road with like their cameras going and stuff. I did wonder, like, is there somebody there right now? Some big deal? Like, is Oasis there or something? You know, is Sir Paul? You know,
he was laying down some tracks.
Yeah, we didn't stick around long enough to see anybody. We did stick around long enough to hit the gift shop.
We did.
That gave us a little, you know, like a little
AC,
you know, plant your flag. Yes, the AC was pumping in the Abbey Road gift shop. That was cool, and they had like a couple little exhibits. You know, almost like a little bit of a museum in there. I got a Sgt. Pepper wallet and a Sgt. Pepper pen with multiple colors. You know,
I got some coasters.
Mm-hmm. Michael Brandon is Dempsey. Glynis Barber is Makepeace. So, and Ray Smith is Spiking, the guy who can't believe you're giving me a bloody yank.
Dude, this is like I'm like I haven't been obsessed with a piece of media in a
Look
long
at the
time.
logo too. So great. So
and the
80s.
theme song is great.
Great theme song. I didn't hear the theme song because I've only seen the pilot. So like, but it looks like it's got a pretty cool opening. Are you giving me a bloody wank?
We caught Chief Spikings in a massage parlor. We have his last record. We have audio recording of the arrest. Are you giving me a bloody? Are you going to give me a bloody yank?
He's pretty great. He's you know, these shows are only as good as the chief that yells at the detective.
He looks like if Mr. Belvedere was using steroids.
Yeah, like if Mr. Belvedere used steroids, he might not have sat violently on his own nuts. They might have shriveled up enough that wouldn't have been a problem.
He passed out from sitting on his own balls. He's like, you two are gonna make me sit on my own nuts. Yeah, it's Mr. Belvedere.
If you don't catch the trickle down trickler, I'll eat my powdered wig.
My brother's a butler in America. A Bobby Euchre.
You're part of a police exchange. My brother's part of a butler exchange. Yeah, so great.
Fucking
Dempsey
great.
Makepeace is great. Our trip to the UK was great, and maybe as we remember other like bits and pieces of the trip, we'll talk about them here. But yeah, we had an amazing time. Thank you to the MacPal Festival for hosting us and showing us a great time in Treacle Town.
It was amazing.
In Macclesfield.
I think we had like 11 pints. Every meal was like
they went down easy,
so smooth.
And I was so jet lagged, exhausted, like no sleep. Like I didn't really get a decent night's sleep till I got home, but like so sleep deprived that like the pints didn't even do a thing. Like I couldn't even tell the difference between.
It was like water.
Yeah, exactly.
Want a pipe, mate?
Dempsey is such a perv. Look, he's like,
yeah.
Look at what he's like. It is shameless.
Yeah, that's your partner, dude.
Yeah. What a fucking perv, Dempsey.
You need to get back and hit that Vidal Sassoon.
He does some amazing, like Helmet Hair Hall of Fame. Dempsey and Makepeace. There's going to be the Dempsey and Makepeace wing of the Helmet Hair Hall of Fame. And yet, like, when that helicopter's taken off and stuff, like his hair does some amazing stuff.
It gets caught in the rotor and it blows up into the, almost brings it down. Look at this guy.
This guy. What the? It turned into Porky's all of a sudden. He's like,
this glory hole's not gonna drill itself.
It's pervy and Makepeace.
He's like, if anybody needs me, I'll be at the sorority house with a ladder. Wow. He's like,
it looks a little like Henry Winkler too.
Yes. Helmet Hair Hall of Fame.
Isn't that a great haircut? Like that is just like, I guess maybe like Debbie Harry or something. Like I'm trying to think
from Blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so like it's kind of its own thing because it does make me think of Linda Evans, but it feels a little like it feels like somebody could wear that hairstyle now and be like the coolest person on the block.
He's like, if anybody needs me, I'll be bopping my baloney.
Here's Dempsey rocking a Tennessee tuxedo.
Holy shit! This show's the fucking shit.
It is.
I love it. The tag says the Jay Leno collection. He pulled that from Jay Leno's steamer trunk.
I'm Tom Scioli, author of Space Opera Xanadax Across the Unknown Dimensions of the Galaxy. Pre-order your copy now. It's coming in August, and as a sterling golden backup feature, there's going to be Princess, the Space Princess from Outer Space, within that same volume. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. I'm also the author of Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, which is collected in a new trade paperback edition coming any day now in July. And The Twilight Zone, issue 2 from IDW, currently working on page 2. I finished page 1, so I have all of the month of July to finish the issue, so I'm on track. By August, I should have the whole thing finished.
Wow. I can't wait, Tom. I'm Matt Zeoli.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
We might see where in the world is the Total Recall show?
Yeah, where will we pop up next? Yeah, bring us out to your, to your town, no matter where that may be. Have YouTube will travel.
It's so awesome. We took this show on the road.
Yeah, we took the show on the road, and it worked. So maybe we'll do some more live Total Recalls too.